Just waiting for a few people to join the live, guys. Gonna do some alcohol inks on a color tumbler. So I primed this because I don't, it's really difficult. I do Florida State University cups. Let me see if I have an example. Like these, this color. It's really hard to get it to the red alcohol inks to not turn pink if you're kind of using a white. So I always base my cup based on what color I want the primary color to be, and then I just add, this one I'm only adding white and gold for FSU. This was just an order I just got today, so they paid for rush, so here we go. We're gonna rush. 30 ounces of epoxy, 15 of part A, 15 of part B. You need to flood coat the cup. So when you after you put your epoxy on, and then you put the alcohol ink on, when you start to heat it, if you put too little, it's just gonna make a dimply mess. It's not gonna move, it's not gonna go anywhere. So you need plenty of epoxy to do this method. So we're just gonna pour it right on there and slather this cup in some epoxy. Again, I do not wear gloves. I know you're supposed to. Please make sure that you guys are wearing protection. I've been doing cups for over a year, and I just cannot stand. I think I have a mild latex allergy as well because I break out more from the gloves than I do the epoxy. And I wipe it right off my finger as soon as I'm done doing this. It comes right off with just a dish towel. So again, please wear protection because this is some pretty serious chemicals. I do not have you guys up on my computer. I will do that in one moment while we let this spin. So I can't really see comments right now, but if you guys have questions, feel free to post them and I'll look at them in just a moment. So this is looking pretty good. I know it looks messy right now. I love this color paint. This is I'll have to get the bottle because I love the set and finish that this paint gives. All right. So I'm just gonna let that spin for a second and let the epoxy even out. And then we'll add our inks. Give me one more second. I'm gonna pull you guys up on my computer so I can see if there's any questions. All right, so I'm just gonna hit this with my heat gun. This is a cheap $7 heat gun from Amazon. Works fantastic to push this stuff around. It's gonna pop these little bubbles because I put it on so fast that it's a little bubbly. Excuse the noise for a moment. All right, so because I'm only using these two colors, the gold, silver, black, and white of this Pinata ink will take over your entire cup if you use too much. So I'm gonna start with the gold. And basically what I do is I just take a little craft stick, shake it up real good because it separates in there. It gets all clumpy at the bottom. This stuff is really like thick and weird. I don't know. It's not like the regular inks. So I just drip a little bit on the craft stick and then I draw it through the epoxy. So with these really thick overtaking, as you see it come up on the other side, see how much that spread? It's crazy, but we'll thin it out with a the heat gun and we can push it around a little bit, but we definitely don't want too much of this. If you think you've put too much, you've already put way too much. So I just try to just do a couple of strands through and then make sure you get some at the bottom of the cup. I won't even tell you what I think those little things look like. It's kind of funny. So if you guys are just joining, we're making an alcohol ink cup with the base of the cup is already primed the color that I want the majority of the cup to be. This is going to be an FSU cup, Florida State University. I'm a Gators fan, so it kind of hurts my heart a little bit to make this cup, but custom order, so I can't complain. Alright, so that white, while that white is spinning, again, these alcohol inks, they spread, the white, the silver, and the gold spread ridiculously fast, so you don't want to use too much. Take a craft stick, drip it on, and drag it through. So the reason why I primed this cup, guys, if you're just joining, is because when I use red alcohol ink and white together, it turns pink, and I can't get it to just make a nice blend. So I base coat my cup whatever the primary color I want, and then I put the corresponding alcohol inks. Makes it much easier. You use much less ink as well. So there's 30 ounces of, I'm sorry, this is a 30 ounce cup. There's 30 milliliters of epoxy on it. You don't want to go too thin when you're doing this epoxy method, because when you go to use your heat gun, nothing's going to move. It's just going to sit there and it's going to get all wavy and dimply. So don't do that. All right, I think that's enough weight. I'm going to do a first pass with the heat gun and see what happens. Excuse the noise, but they're just going to use the heat gun, push it all around until you get kind of a design that you're happy with. And if you find that you're missing big gaps, you can just go in and take your stick again and do it again. You'll start to see it when it comes up on the other side that it's starting to thin out and the colors are starting to blend together and they're not so splotchy looking. Use your heat gun to push wherever you think you need more. Break up the splotches a little bit. Makes it kind of ripply. Makes it nice. This cup has a hole in the seal because it's starting to bubble at the bottom, which is not going to be a good thing, but hopefully I can catch it and just seal it back up as it spins. But that's looking pretty nifty. Alright, so you can see that it's not blotchy anymore like it was. It's nice and thinned out. The lines are looking more wavy. It's looking pretty awesome, but I do think I need more gold on some of the areas, so I'm just going to go back and put a little bit more gold. This is for a dad whose daughter was just accepted to FSU, so it's going to have a photo on it and the logo for the school, the little Indian guy. So it's gonna look pretty cool, but it is for a guy, so you don't want to make it too glamoury. Alright, I'm gonna pass through with just a couple more swipes of white, and I think we'll be done here, guys. I'm gonna heat it up again and then let it spin. Let's see what happens. And don't be afraid to cut through the other color with one color. Don't be afraid to do that because it'll break it up real nice. And you drag this right on your cup, right through the epoxy. I am touching the cup. So it kind of makes a line, and then the epoxy kind of fills in that line instead of spreading out all over the place. All right, heat one more time and I think we'll be done. All right, so I'm gonna let this spin for about 15 minutes going this direction. I don't know if you guys can see that. For about 15 minutes in this direction, I'll turn my turner off, wait about 15 seconds and turn it back on, and it should rotate to the other direction. It makes the swirling happen much better. It doesn't all go in one significant pattern, and it will flow the other way. And you'll see some of the white coming into this gold that kind of has a big blob there and a big blob there, but as it turns, it just kind of spreads itself out. And you can go over it with a heat gun, but you don't want to do it too much. If you heat gun alcohol ink too much, it's going to come out all wavy when it's cured, and you're going to have to sand it, and sometimes that's a mess too. So I like to just heat gun it a little bit so it comes out nice and smooth. I can slap a decal on it, slap some vinyl on it, last coat of epoxy, and it's done. This is one of the easiest cups for a beginner to learn on. I think there's no Mod Podge involved, there's no glitter involved. It's just a little bit of epoxy, a cup, and a couple of bottles of alcohol ink, and it makes it a beautiful cup. So if anybody has any questions, the alcohol inks are Pinata. They're from Amazon.com. It's the gold and the white. You can buy them in a pack of 15, I think, for 25 bucks. They're not bad at all. They go a long way. They last a long time. And that's it. Any other questions? I will answer them once I get over to my computer. Have a good day, guys.